GWATA TV gives you a first look at North Central Washington's business news. You'll hear from our local business, tech, and education companies as Jenny discusses hot topics and current events with some of the best innovators and pioneers in North Central Washington.
Hello, North Central Washington. I'm Jenny Rojanasatian, your host for GWATA TV. Each week on GWATA TV, I bring in new individuals to talk about what's happening in the world of technology, entrepreneurship, and STEM education in North Central Washington. This week's episode is actually going to be a two-part series. We're going to be talking about women who rule the world. That's women entrepreneurs in North Central Washington, which is also the theme of GWATA's upcoming entrepreneurial panel. On July 24th, we're featuring female business owners in a conversation over lunch at the Confluence Technology Center. But to give you a sneak peek of our upcoming panel and to talk further in depth, I brought two guests on today to talk about entrepreneurship in our community as well as their unique businesses. Today we'll have Kathy Smithson of Smithson Insurance Services, as well as Julie Burdick from Julie Aynn Photography. Stay tuned and enjoy today's episode of Women Rule the World. Welcome back to GWATA TV. I'm your host, Jenny Rojanasatian, and I'm joined today with Kathy Smithson of Smithson Insurance Services. Welcome to the show, Kathy.
Thank you. It's fun to be here.
We're really excited about today's topic, entrepreneurship, but specifically women in entrepreneurship, which is an event you're helping us support through GWATA. But you have a lot of experience in this because you've been an entrepreneur for how many years now?
37. Can you believe it? 37 years ago, yes. I had started off in the industry not knowing anything about it, but getting a job. And I just took to it like a fish to water. And I had gotten my degree in cultural anthropology, which means I love people. And the next thing I know, I was getting licensed and I went into the business on my own. And being a female, being a woman entrepreneur, back then there were very few, especially in insurance. And so I paved a few paths there, and I'm very proud of that. And here I am 37 years later, Smithson Insurance Services Incorporated. I've had my office in East Wenatchee since, 1994. June of 94. So I haven't figured out how many years ago that was, and I've been there ever since. And I love what I do. I love this business. Mainly because of what I do, I get to meet with every kind of person there is. And that's what I love. I love every socioeconomic background, every type of person that I can sit and visit with and enjoy, and then help their lives in any way I could, with what I do and the products that I sell and the things that I do and their life planning. And so it's been quite the road that I've hoed, along the way, and I'm proud of that. And so when I see any emphasis on women entrepreneurs getting in this business, getting in any business, whatever it is, I support it 100% because it's easier said than done. And it takes a lot of support, a lot of belief, but it also takes a lot for the woman herself in believing in herself and her confidence and what she does. And so I'm here to support in any way I know how. So as soon as I saw your advertisement, I went, oh, I'll get on board with that real quick.
Well, we appreciate your support to our nonprofit. Smithson Insurance Services has been a GWATA member for years. I've been an advocate not only for our organization, but several other philanthropic organizations. But let's talk a little bit in detail about Smithson Insurance Services. So I think you started, you serve a variety of clients.
Yes.
Really looking for solutions that fit their business needs, their personal needs.
And their business needs, absolutely. And so starting off in the business, it was individuals, individual families. It was an emphasis on life insurance. Okay. And then it went into the health insurance market. And I realized not as many agents were going into the health insurance market. And as you well know, that's been quite an arena for people in insecurities of what are we going to do to get ourselves covered and protected and not so vulnerable. So I really started going into that as well, which took me into employee benefit packages. and working with employers and covering their employees as well as themselves in business insurance. And that is really strong in my practice today with my employees. We do a great deal in group medical, individual medical, and Medicare. We're doing so much more with Medicare in the Medicare market than I thought I'd be doing 20 years ago. But it's a very important market, and there's so many different variables involved for a person. It's real simple when you sit down. There are people come in and they're just so confused, and they bring in mounds of paperwork they've gotten in the mail from Medicare. And once I break it down for them, they go, oh, that wasn't so difficult. And I went, no, it's just understanding it. But what's important is understanding it. How do these plans really work, and what's in a person's best interest? So I'm not one who throws out a bunch of seminars and throws 100 people together to try and throw enough information out there for them. I like to work one-on-one. That really matters to me. So that's something that's a specialty in my office right now, is Medicare.
Okay.
And Medicare planning. That comes in line with long-term care planning. And folks are starting to look at their future and the assets they've accumulated and how they're going to protect that if they end up in a long-term care facility at $5,000, $6,000 a month. So now we're going into a lot more of that again, which is very good. So life insurance, health insurance of all kinds, and group benefits.
So if you're an individual who's needing health insurance or wants to do a review, you don't support just one health insurance company, correct? So it's a platform. You provide all of the options out there on the market to determine the individual's needs.
Correct. That's why when I say I specialize, I offer them all. I'm not specialized with one company. I have them all. And that's why I'm a broker. I'm able to represent all of them, and I'm constantly looking, is there someone new that's entered the state that's been approved? Are they worth also getting appointed with and offering? So yes, I do. I offer everything that's out there. So when people come and see me, they get it all. They don't have to go shopping to 4 or 5 different agents to get the different information.
To get the competitive quotes and
it all.
The benefit packages.
And I do like to do reviews, and I recommend that to folks who say, well, I've already got some. We're not real crazy about it, or we're not understanding it as well as we'd like to. And I go, great, let's just do a quick review. I feel a responsibility knowing that I can help people. It's like this Washington Apple Health Plan that we can help people get. We don't get paid for it. That doesn't matter to me. It all figures itself out, but that we're here to help them get it solved so that they get serviced in the right way. I'm part of a community. I want them to know you don't have to buy anything from me. I will clearly review what you have and help you answer any questions that you might have. There are sometimes people come in and they'll have claim problems. Something really went wrong, and they're getting stuck with lots of dollars, and they don't think they should be, and they're not quite sure which direction to go. And that's a very vulnerable situation. And that's where I can sit down and help, again, with that kind of thing. So that's one reason in my name, Smithson Insurance Services, really matters to me. And I'm real involved with associations. National Association of Health Underwriters, Washington State Association of Health Underwriters, National Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors, past state president, North Central Washington District Committee Chair. It's important to me that people get taken care of professionally and nobly in this industry, and that we don't portray that we're just salespeople who want to make a buck. It's not who I am.
Well, your passion really comes through.
So it's probably why I'm still here 37 years later. I am passionate.
Your passion shows through.
Good.
And I imagine that's created just one of the reasons you've been successful in this industry. Is there any other things that you, in reflection of your entrepreneurial story, advice, challenges you've overcome, what would you say to women who are going into business based on your experience paving a path in a new industry that's helped you over the years, or something you learned?
Number one thing that came to my mind is be honest. Be so honest. Sometimes we want to put on a mask. We want to portray something that we're not, or that we know we can be. People see through that. They want to believe in you, and when you're so honest and you show your vulnerability, then you will get clients and people will believe in you because you're human, and they will see that they can trust you. So that's real important, is honesty. Don't you think that's the biggest thing that turns people off, when you find somebody really wasn't being honest? And second of all, it's like in the insurance industry, believe in your product. Don't just sell something if you're in sales because you can. If you believe in it 100%, and it's believed for the person coming in front of you that you're meeting with, you will make it. You will make it. So it's not about me, and that's the best thing I can tell any woman out there. Going into business, don't make it about you, ever. Make it all about your client, and be 100% honest. We make mistakes. Let's tell them I made a mistake, or I don't really know the whole thing of what you just asked me. I'm going to go find out, and we'll learn together. That is a vulnerable way, but it also pulls people into your honesty, don't you think?
Right.
Does that
And
make
having
sense?
that humility.
Those are the first two thoughts that came to my mind. And be smart about business. You know, be smart about business. Boy, I tell you, taxes can catch up with you, and all of a sudden you realize how much all that adds up to, and you can get behind. I've known many who had difficulty. Those were some of my difficult things, probably in the first 10 years, is trying to get my head around that. If you hire employees, doing the payroll, doing the reporting, that is the most important thing. I feel bad when I see a successful business that I think is fabulous and I love it, and then I find out they closed 3 months later. And then you go, oh, there's something they didn't connect the dots on connecting how you pay for all these things.
Well,
right?
And I think that's why support for entrepreneurs, not just women, but all new entrepreneurs.
You bet.
You need great professional service providers.
Correct.
Taxes, employee benefits, financials, so that you can round out your business plan, address the gaps you might have, and move forward. So, well, Kathy, I want to thank you. I think that was great advice on entrepreneurship.
Thank you.
And
Good.
as we wrap up here, I want to invite the audience to join us on July 24th. Kathy will be there along with her associates at Smithson Insurance Services, so you can have a chance to meet Kathy, learn a little bit more about her advice and experience. And anything else to add before we head out?
Happy 4th of July and Independence Day.
All right. Well, thanks for being on air with us, Kathy. We appreciate it. We'll be back after the commercial break with another guest.
Thank you.
Welcome back to GWATA TV. On today's episode, we're featuring two women in business, two entrepreneurs right here in North Central Washington, as our theme is Women Rule the World. So welcome to the show, Julie Burdick.
Thank you, Jenny.
I'm so excited to have you on air.
Excited to be here.
And to talk about your business, Julie Aynn Photography.
Yes.
So I think it implies a little bit you are a photographer, but let's talk about your business and where you're located.
Sure. So I am now on Palouse and Wenatchee Avenue. I have a new studio there in the old Savings and Loan building, which was built in 1936, a beautiful old building. I'm above the old bookstore, and it's a very fun, comfy, inviting environment.
And you've been a photographer in Wenatchee for the last couple of years, but you moved over from
the Seattle area, in 2014.
Okay.
Yes, and started my business here, not knowing anybody.
Which photography, I imagine, it's a customer relations first. So you've really built a huge client base. Being new in town, so kudos to you for doing that. Why the transition to a studio? What led you to that decision?
So I needed the validity of a studio to do just that, to take my photography to the next level, to offer me the opportunity to have a place to do headshots, and when it's really hot in the summer, cold in the winter.
Just
those
allows
kinds
you
of
to
things.
diversify your
Yes,
offerings
yes.
for customers.
Yes.
So you just mentioned headshots. Julie's
Yes.
done our GWATA board headshots
Yes.
at the Confluence Technology Center, which were great. But what type of photography do you do?
So I do families. I do a lot of headshots besides GWATA in the community. Children, I really have a heart for women. I'm really doing a lot of women self-esteem type photos, really build them up.
And you know, you're an entrepreneur speaking on our panel for
Yes,
Women Rule the World, and you talk about your passion for women. How does that help transform women? A new headshot or a positive
So we
experience?
all have, you know, we're women, we're so hard on ourselves, and once we see ourselves in a photo and we're looking pretty, we feel more confident. We feel invincible, we feel strong, and that's what I really want to do, is empower women to be who they are.
And on the empowerment speech before we came on air, you were talking about something that you started at Julie Aynn Photography,
Yes.
a new kind of event.
Yes,
Let's talk
yes.
about what you want to do for
Yes.
empowering women
Yes.
at your studio location.
Yes. So in August, I'm starting a How Did She Get Here Inspiring Stories. So I put out a feeler to about 8 local women in the community of, hey, do you want to come be a part of this? And I got an immediate response. Immediate. So that told me that it was going to be a good thing. So I'm going to have them come in once a month and give a little talk, give their inspiring personal story, their business story, and other women can be inspired by their journey. And I hope it's a safe place to ask questions, have mentors. Everybody remembers what it's like to first start out in business, and we all need someone that we can ask questions and look up to.
And is it focused on women in business, or is it inspirational stories of any context?
It can be personal, it can be in business,
Okay.
it really can be either. I have a little bit of both up my sleeve.
Okay.
So I'm super excited. It's going to be great. It's limited seating to start with, about 15 people, but I'm not even saying if it gets bigger, when it gets bigger, then we'll move on from the studio.
And to connect into Julie Aynn Photography as well as this event, so where would people find you?
Facebook,
Okay.
Instagram, julieann.com, photography.com, on the web, yeah,
So
on the normal social media places.
perfect. So more information to come on your. Say the name of the series again for me.
It's going to be a How Did She Get Here / Inspiring Stories.
Okay. Inspiring
event.
stories.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
And you have an inspiring story, which is why you're coming up on our panel. So let's talk a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey.
Sure, sure.
Why go into business for yourself? Have you done it before?
I have.
Okay.
So in my 20s, I owned a video store back in the video store days for about 7 years. And then from there, I moved on to the adult life journey, and I went into finance. And I always stayed in the photography world, though. And so when we moved over here, I decided to go back full-time into the photography world and make that my career again.
And I imagine there was a lot of learnings going into the video store industry in the 2000s when everything started to change to technology.
Yes.
So is there a lot of lessons that you applied through that business as the industry changed?
Just to change with it.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Change with it. Be willing to conform to what people need. And styles always change. Video store, photography, whatever.
Being really adaptable in the process.
Yes, absolutely.
And do you have any advice on that adaptability? So if a woman is out there watching this show, wants to start their own business, or even a male, it doesn't have to be just gender specific. What are some foundational advice for entrepreneurship?
Don't give up. Just don't give up. Keep going, and don't look at your neighbor. Don't compare yourself to your neighbor. Just do the best that you can do, and find your tribe. Find your tribe of people and your support system. Absolutely.
And if you don't have a support system,
Get one.
sounds like
Call me.
Inspiring stories.
I will help you.
Might be a good way to
Yes.
go, as well as again GWATA's resources, the entrepreneurial panel. Julie will be among 4 other women who are talking about their experiences. So, Well, Julie, thanks for coming on air with us
Thank you.
today.
Thank you.
For our audience out there, I can encourage you to go down to Palouse and Wenatchee.
Yes.
Check out Julie Aynn Photography, whether you need a headshot or family photo sessions.
Thank you.
And also to connect with her online about upcoming events.
Yes.
Well, it's time for us to head to a quick commercial break, but we'll be back after a moment. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of GWATA TV. It was inspiring to hear from two women in business, two entrepreneurs who have paved the way for others in our valley. Coming up on July 24th, GWATA will be featuring 4 entrepreneurs in our panel titled Women Rule the World. We have August Edge, Element Salon and Spa, 501 Consultants, and Julie Aynn Photography, as you met Julie earlier today. We want to thank our sponsors for supporting Women Rule the World and GWATA, Numerica Credit Union, the Entrepreneur Source with Wendy Dalpez, along with Smithson Insurance Services. Thanks for joining us on GWATA TV, and we'll see you next week.
Since 1999, GWATA has served as North Central Washington's Tech Alliance. As a 501c3, our mission is to bring people and technology resources together to create a thriving community. Through our work, we aim to inspire, engage, and connect.